I allow myself to be my best self, to be creative and to let go. I allow myself to live an elevated life, to stay focused and clear, always moving towards a goal. I allow myself to let go and to learn to live and to grow. I allow myself time and space. I allow. I allow myself to feel. Yes. It's time to allow ourselves to express ourselves, to be ourselves, to reach into ourselves and find the original self, which is deep inside us all. It lives inside us once we allow ourselves to open up and be real, be kind, be transparent, and be who we came to be. Welcome, everybody. We are here live once again, doing our collective cleanse once again, coming together once again as a group, as a team, and oneness. Welcome to you all. If you're here for the first time, please put that you're here for the first time in the chat. And also let us know how you found out about this class, this workshop, this lecture, this talk, this seminar, this series. Let us know how you found out about elevation, how you found out about Dr. Mahdi, how you found out about Dr. B, and how you even may have found out about who you really are, your own self, you. Wow, it's time. Are y'all ready to go? Yes, we had a few technical challenges, but now we're back. You're listening to the music of I Allow. That's a new project that's coming out. The Project Allow will be out in about 30 days. It's a whole soundtrack of songs that have to do with allowing and allowing ourselves to open up that flow of the natural waters of the universe that move through us that we all have. Instead of having to work and work and work and challenge, a lot of times we just need to just open up and allow the natural flow of nature. Nature always follows the path of least resistance. Nature follows the path of least resistance. When we resist, then sometimes we are not connected to the ground. We're not connected to the earth, the cosmos, or our original selves. So welcome one, welcome all. I'd like to bring on to the scene right now Dr. Mahdi. He's in the background. He's in the green room. Dr. Mahdi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I like that orange light you got going on. What is that, man? Some psychedelic light? What do you got?
It's just it's a mood light here because of the time. Not to overstimulate my retina. That's why I'm wearing the glasses and having this particular lighting so that it doesn't disrupt the circadian rhythm too much for me.
We're going to talk about that, bro. The circadian rhythms and disrupting. You come right on. Every time you come on, man, you'd be dropping it. But, I'm going to work on my lighting here for a few seconds, man. I like your lighting.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Might look a little hazy. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, they, them, whoever we are, whoever we're becoming, those who are here from other planets, other star systems, other vibrations, other places other than now, which is all now, because there's only now. So we are here today with Dr. Mahdi. And Dr. Mahdi, could you please give us a little bit about who you are for those of you who may not have heard of you before? Because we got new people, I see. So can you tell them a little bit about you while I work on my lighting?
Yes, sir. Certainly. So my name is Dr. Mahdi Brown. I'm a naturopathic medical doctor. I was actually educated and trained in the United States. I went to what is now Sonoran University there in Arizona. When I was attending medical school, it was a Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine. And before that, I was actually how I met Dr. B was actually in Los Angeles. This is way back in 2003 when I was studying Chinese medicine there in LA and also working at a fertility center there in Beverly Hills. And I went to one of his seminars and it really just changed my life and been connected with that brother ever since. And I come from a strong lineage and indigenous teachings and indigenous ancestry from the Americas, going all the way to the Sierra Nevadas there in Colombia, as it was revealed to me recently, but also indigenous ancestry there within the states as well. And so that has been profound, has had a profound influence on my life. Started with my grandmother just teaching me a lot of things coming up as a little boy about just our connection to the planet, our connection to earth. And one of the things that she would always tell me is that everything we needed as far as healing, God already created for us on the planet in the herbs, and how she would harvest herbs with my mother as a little girl and my great grandmother every fall and spring to make medicine for the entire family for the year. And this is how we were operating. And so those were teachings and traditions that really planted those seeds for me to continue pursuing this more holistic way of life. And so I am now abroad. I currently live here in Europe, in Spain. And I've been in Europe now for the past, this June will make 8 years. And so, it's been an extraordinary journey. And I always appreciate the opportunity to work with this brother and contribute to all you wonderful people, that are part of his his tribe. So I'm happy to be here and happy to share with you guys tonight.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you for that because we have folks here who are may not know of you. Folks, once again, if you're here for the first time, put that you're here for the first time in the chat. And if you've been here before, if you're a veteran, you've been around, hanging around the Elevation family for a while, put that in there too. Also, put how you found out about tonight, how you found out about this particular space. And also, you may put a quick little line about who you are. Well, not who you are, what you're looking for. What are you searching for? We're going to start doing workshops and classes that have to do with what people are asking for. What, because, you know, we assume everybody's looking for the same thing, but we find that people are all totally unique individuals within this collective. And, you know, once we know little bit more about what people are looking for, that we can formulate classes, workshops, tours, retreats, and things that around what, you know, groups of you or groups of we are searching for, because we're all searching, we're all travelers, we're seekers, but we also don't want to just seek forever. We'd like to find. So it's about finding ourselves. So yes, I see folks coming in. Welcome, 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 welcome. You're here on our collective cleanse week. Is this week 3? Yes.
Yeah,
This is actually the last week of the cleanse for that I'm doing right now. A lot of folks couldn't get in and start in the beginning because there was storms, there was fires, there might have been floods. I think it was somebody said it was a tsunami watch somewhere, but there's always something going on that sometimes delays the mail and things like that. But we are here now, and whoever is starting the cleanse now, it's okay. You can still go back and watch this whole series on YouTube, and so you'll be right with us. You're right on time. That's the one good thing about having this stored on YouTube, so you can see and feel what to expect. And we're going to get into a little bit about what I found out, what happened to Dr. B in the last week of traveling. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But right now, welcome everybody. If you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome. And the question is it okay if we talk about some things you may not have heard before? Is that okay? We'd like to get permission before we just drop in so deep. You know, a lot of times the ego says just give them information. No, what would you really like? Are you really open? Give yourself permission. And then we'd like to get permission from you to talk about some things. Maybe have a little fun. Would that be okay? Is it okay if we talk about some things that may be kind of soul stirring for you and kind of agitate some of that stuff, some of that mindset that you might have deep inside? Good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Congratulations. So Dr. Mahdi.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit about this blue light you say you're protecting your eyes from, and talk about what's happening with people who are always on screens and you know what I'm saying, and get into that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So as human beings, we are part of this extraordinary ecosystem that we call planet Earth and this universe, and everything works in a rhythm. There's a rhythmic interchange and balance that is always in flow. And it's our responsibility to stay in touch with that. And so we each, as individuals, have what we call a circadian rhythm that's tied to the sun. And that pretty much governs our wake and sleep cycle. And so for a majority of our journey here on this planet, the technologies we have right now, as far as I know, because I can't speak to what we may have had 100,000 years ago, and but the technology we have now is very different to the natural order of our bodies and how our bodies are constituted when it comes to sunlight and the wake sleep cycle. And so these screens that we're watching, from our televisions, from our computer screens, from our cell phones, our iPads, etc., the blue light that is being emitted from these screens go directly into our eyes, hit our retina, and basically disrupt that circadian rhythm, because our nervous system is thinking that is still in a wake cycle, even though it should be sleeping. And so when that happens, it can really disrupt not only the sleep cycle, but it starts to disrupt the entire system as a whole. It can impact the nervous system, cardiovascular system, your digestive system. Every system in the body can now be altered in an imbalanced way when that happens. So one of the things I do, I have a filter literally on my computer screen, because right now here it's literally 1:20 in the morning. And so before I came on, I made sure I took a nap, to kind of give my body some time to regulate itself and go through that repair process that it typically goes through at night. And then I woke up probably right around midnight, my time, and to prepare for, our session here this evening, and to protect my eyes so they're not overly stimulated by the blue light. Even though I have a filter on the screen, I have these glasses on that will also give me more of a dim light that enters into my eyes. And then also within uh, my office here, I have a dim light on as well. So I keep it at a very almost sunset type of lighting, so that I'm not dealing with any like high end uh, LED blue lights, or a lot of times we will get these halogen bulbs that are emitting this extraordinarily intense white light. These are things that are very disruptive to our nervous system and our circadian rhythm. And it's so important that when we are trying to align ourselves, especially with a cleanse, being in the rhythm, being in the season of your sleep is very, very important. So even with me being out of my sleep cycle right now, I'm doing things to mitigate the effects of me being up at 1:30 in the morning, so that my body does not uh, take on too much imbalance because of that. Also, I'm drinking adaptogen tea right now that has ashwagandha and you know uh, and lemon balm and these things that are very calming, little chamomile in it, so these things are very calming and soothing to the nervous system as well. So these are things that if you have to stay up late, or if you're staying up late, you do to kind of help support your body as much as possible.
So a lot of folks have the habit of looking at their phone right before they go to bed. It's the last thing we do because we got to figure out what's going on. We got to still be in that mass distraction. I don't want to miss anything. So tell us what happens when we're doing that. What
Yeah.
goes on in the brain?
So
in our
even
nervous
on
system?
even on my phone here, I have a dimmer. You can't really tell, but there's a dimmer on here. But this goes into airplane mode. Wi-Fi goes off in our house, and when we're looking at that screen at night before you go to bed, you're sending all of that blue light into your eyes, stimulating your brain so that it's not shutting down. So it actually decreases melatonin production. And melatonin is essential. And that starts really as the sun starts to set, wherever you are, the melatonin starts to rise. Cortisol begins to fall because the two hormones that are constantly in play. You have, well, it's three. There's serotonin and cortisol that are pretty much being produced during the day. And then as the sun sets, melatonin begins to rise. And there's always this ebb and flow between these hormones. And so typically the sun sets here in Spain around like 6:30ish, 7 o'clock. That's when melatonin begins to increase. By around 11 p.m., 12 p.m., it is at its highest production. Then it starts to break down. And it's in that breakdown of melatonin into metabolites from the hours of, like, let's say 11 p.m. up through like 3 a.m. That's when the most healing and deepest sleep needs to take place. When you're watching and looking at your phone right before you go to bed, you disrupt that cycle completely. And so your body's not able to go into the deepest rest that it can, and it definitely cannot regenerate, repair, and remove toxins at a more efficient level. And specifically within the brain, we've probably all heard of the lymphatic system. Yeah, and this is like our own sewer system for the body that is constantly detoxifying all the cells within the body. The brain has its own system called the glymphatic system,
Hmm.
where it's now the brain's now going to be processing through all the thoughts, all what it has been exposed to, any problems that it has not been able to solve during the night when you're sleeping. The glymphatic system is going to be processing and clearing out all the toxins from the brain so that you wake up refreshed and renewed. And if you're waking up in the morning and you have like brain fog and a heaviness, that is a first-hand indicator that your glymphatic system is congested and is not able to detoxify properly. And a lot of times the issue with that is you've been on your phone right before you went to bed, watching TV before you went to bed, or on your computer before you went to bed.
So we get caught habitually in rhythms. So biorhythms are rhythms that we biologically usually naturally go through. There's natural biorhythms, right? And there's the cell life, which begins at a certain time and then it dies at a certain time through apoptosis. Would you say that because of these new habits, we're changing our biology and changing our biorhythms?
Absolutely. The body is a very fascinating organism, and all life works like this. Otherwise, it wouldn't be, no life won't be able to survive on this planet. It's called adaptive physiology. The body adapts to the environment in which it finds, externally and also internally. So, from an external source, when we're getting these artificial light stimulations from computer screens, from cell phones, from iPads, from televisions, and we're not going to bed on time, because as a species, and I would challenge everyone who's listening to this to test this out sometime. Go somewhere in nature, especially if like you go camping, where you don't have any artificial light and you're just dealing with the rhythms of life, nature itself, where the only light source you have is the sun. And you're not bringing your cell phones out there and having them on when the sun goes down. Any light that you have, make it a fire that you light, and you have a fire going. But see how your body feels in such an environment and how it will quickly align itself with the natural rhythm, the natural biorhythm of the planet. And this is something that we completely have removed from our civilization, where we have artificial lights running all night if we want. And we're constantly being exposed to these artificial lights and stimulating the retina and the nervous system to suppress melatonin production because we need to stay up for whatever reasons we feel. And that comes at a cost, because we are no longer following natural law. We began to create an imbalance because the laws of life, the biorhythms of life, don't change for us. And one of the things, one of the elders I used to listen to back in the day, Dr. John Moore, he said, either you move in time with natural law or kiss your black ass goodbye.
Right.
And that was always his saying. But what was deep to that, he would say it from a comical standpoint, but what was really deep to what he was saying was just this truth that everything in this realm, in space, time, and matter that we call life, follows a rhythm of balance. And it does not differentiate for no one. And this is how the entire universe is governed. And so as the seasons come and go, as the elements are constantly in flow from earth, air, fire, water, all of them have their natural flow and are exchanging with one another, we are a part of that. And so this culture that we now have, that is relying on these artificial lights and staying up way beyond when the body should be staying up, yeah, it comes at a cost. and it can affect every system in the body. No system is impervious to it. So from the nervous system down to the skin itself can be impacted by us not being in alignment with the natural law and living that way.
I think it's interesting. I used to have relatives who couldn't go to sleep without the TV on, and they would
My
have this
dad's like that.
TV
Yeah.
every single night. And if you came in and you tiptoed in and turned the TV off, they wake up. Why'd you do that?
Mhm.
They can't sleep without that mass distraction, without those frequencies.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is the body begins to take on these rhythms, even if they're
Mhm.
artificial rhythms and unnatural,
Mhm.
because you have will to do what you like. So if you would like to do these things that are destructive, you may not know it, but after a while, it's going to take a toll, on your nervous system, on your brain, because you're taking in everything. Your sympathetic nervous system is taking in everything, every sensation, every sense
Mhm.
are all online with your sympathetic nervous system. You're reading the environment.
Yes.
And when one of the things we learn is when you go into nature, you just get quiet and breathe first. And you start listening to the rhythm of nature. We even learned this when we were learning security when we were young. When you go into a city, or you go any new place, you listen. You have to listen to the sounds and the rhythm of nature. And if the rhythm changes, something's going on that you need to be aware of.
Mhm.
But now we are sold, right, into buying things because of we feel we need to be included. We need this new stuff. You got to keep up with the technology. You got to get the new app. You got to get the new phone faster, faster, faster. And we start agreeing to things that are disagreeable. And after a while, we become like, we talk about cloning. They don't even have to clone people physically anymore.
No.
People are cloned because of your habits. You're doing things that are being given to you and told to you that as normal, but they're not natural. And that's changing our physiology. It's changing our psychology. It's changing every part of us. And it's interesting that even, holding your phone, just holding your phone. If you hold your phone in your left hand, all of that, all those frequencies are going into your body because energy enters your body through your left hand, through your left side. It's magnetic.
Mhm.
The right side is electrical, so it sends energy out. So it would be best to hold your phone or your computer or whatever in your right hand. So at least some of that energy is leaving you. It's not going to totally protect you, but it's going to help, deflect some of that energy from a direct absorption on the left side. I was in the store the other day, and I just noticed that how many women had their phone in their breasts. They even have they have a bra with a little pocket and everything. And it was always on the left breast. I was like, wow, they got all that radiation. I mean, your cell phone today is like a whole gigantic computer building from the 1960s. That's how much power is in that phone, how much electromagnetic radiation is in that phone for it to do what it does. It's a powerful tool, but with all tools, we have to be careful and respect them and know when to use them and know how to use them. But putting your cell phone on your breast, I even have to be careful sometimes because I'll put it in my pocket.
Yes.
And that's right around your waist, around your reproductives. So they're receiving that radiation and that energy that's actually causing us to become toxic. So when we talk about cleansing, we also have to cleanse from some habits, some things that we do that we call normal and natural that are totally totally causing toxins in the system. The body is always going to try to protect itself in some kind of way. It's going to do something to try to counteract that.
Yeah.
And if we're doing a lot of things that's causing harm to the body, that's going to make the body more acidic. Is that right, Dr.
Yes,
Mahdi?
sir. Mm-hmm.
The body's going to make more acid to try to protect itself from these foreign invaders, whether they be chemical, whether they be energetic, whether they be spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Electrical. These are foreign invaders that we have accepted. But it's interesting that if you use a Gauss meter or radiation meter and you touch a tree or have your naked feet on the ground when you're on the phone, it's 0. If you are talking on your phone with your feet naked on the ground, on the earth, all that radiation goes straight to ground. If you're holding onto a tree while you're talking, all the radiation goes straight to ground. So grounding is important because we are electromagnetic beings. Is this right?
That's correct.
We're creating electricity. We're creating frequencies. We're taking in frequencies. We're affected by frequencies. But when you ground, which is important even in the winter, even more than the summer. See, we automatically run outside in the summer, sometimes with no shoes. We might do that at the beach or whatever, but why would you do it in the winter? It's too cold. Just go outside. In the snow, it could be freezing just for a few minutes. The other day, I went outside. It was maybe 12 degrees. All I had on was a t-shirt and some shorts, and I went outside for about 5 minutes. It was freezing, but I was shocking my system. By doing that, my body was like, okay, what's happening? Something new is going on. We're in a new environment. I was causing an automatic, grounding to happen in my system. Some folks would never do that, but they only have these tanks now. These, what do they call them? Hydrogen.
The sensory deprivation tanks. That's what you're talking about?
No, the ones where you get in and it's like you freeze. It's what do they call them?
Those cryo tanks. Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we got to shock our system into a new habit, a new way. Grounding is extremely important. Getting balance, taking a break from the phone, sometimes cutting off your modem. That's one of the best sleeps you'll leave. I remember once when our electricity got cut off, the guy called and said, this is the last time we're calling. This was back in the day. This is the last time we're calling, man. We're going to cut that electricity off. I said, well, good. We won't be hearing from you no more. And they cut the electricity off the next morning. So for a whole week, I had no electricity. And I couldn't even go in my studio because my studio was all electronic, but I could play all my acoustic instruments. I had my acoustic guitar out. I broke out some candles and played the guitar. I wrote some music when my electricity was off. That is just still to this day amazing. With the electricity off. Because there was no bombardment of all these energetic things, which were actually affecting me on a spiritual level, an emotional level, and a physical level. We're taking all that in. I'm not saying we shouldn't use technology. I'm saying we have to learn how to shut it off. We got to take a fast. Sometimes a fast or a break or a cleanse is not doing something that you normally do every day habitually. Looking at your phone before you go to sleep. First thing you wake up in the morning, what you got to do? Check your phone. Some folks can't even go to sleep. They can't turn their ringer off.
Nope.
Something may happen. Well, you'll find out when you wake up. What if it's an emergency? Well, half the time you couldn't do anything about it anyway.
Facts.
Find out when like in the old days, you used to wait till you get home, right? We had an old, answer machine with a cassette in it. You know what I'm saying? And come home, beep, hi, this is your Aunt Ginger calling, and I just wanted you to know, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You didn't find out things until you got home. And if with the news, you had to read the newspaper. You see, all of these things are embodying our immune systems. Embodying, that's a new word. Embodying. That's embargo and bombarding put together. Embodying. But it's affecting us. So by taking a break from some of these things, it's going to change us. So even though we're looking at this is the last, week of the detox, no, we have to do periodic detoxing. Like they have this thing now, what do they call it? Periodic fasting. What do they call it, Mahdi? This
intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting. Then now they've named it. It's a big thing, the intermittent fasting. But the body was made not to eat for days. There was times when, in the ancient times, we didn't get any food for sometime almost a season. Imagine that. No food. You probably say, well, I couldn't live. Yes, you could. Your body knows how to survive, and your body knows how to eat up all the cells, right? That would actually cause illness and cause toxins in your body. Your body begins to eat them. Is that right, Mahdi?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So intermittent fasting wasn't like a new fad. This was a way of life. Not eating for a while. You see? And these are breaking of habits because, and you know, and our diet is real crazy because it's killing us. That's why they made me call it a diet. The standard American diet is really like, wow. This is one of the things they talk about in politics now. People are arguing with this RFJ? What's my man's name? Kennedy. They're
RFK.
they're arguing with him because he's telling us about how toxic the food is in the environment and all these things, and we need to change it. And the other side is mad, saying, no, we want our toxins. We want our poison. We like red dye and all these chemicals in our food. I'm like, well, what? Why would the mindset be that you are being treated badly because you can get poison? You have the choice to eat poison. I don't know. The mindset on that is really still, people are so, the habit of having too much. See, a lot of us in North America and even in Europe, we have the diseases of affluence because we can buy stuff, because we can get it. I can do it. So I'm just going to buy it. I'm going to put it on a credit card. I can pay for it on time. But some of the poorest people in the world are not poor. They're rich because they can't afford to buy into stuff and pay for stuff that is actually degrading their life force.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? Think about that. You can go buy, and it's legal. You say, well, the FDA is protecting us from what? What are they protecting you from? And what are you protecting yourself from? And the other thing is this whole thing about what the people are doing, what most people are doing. Most people. I mentioned to a couple of people that I was, they said, why don't you come eat with us? I said, no, you know, I'm okay. I have my own food. I'm on a cleanse. What kind of cleanse you on? Everybody's on a cleanse. Why would you be cleansing? You know, is cleansing in the Bible? I said, well, yeah, they got fasting in the Bible. I always want to bring it up. Well, it didn't say in there that, you know, it says in there that all you had to do was bless the meat and then you could eat it. You could eat the hoof of hog. You know what I'm saying? You could eat you could eat a chitterling, just pray over it. I'm like, wow, man, the mindset of people. And we're, you know, you're free to do whatever you like. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to let you know that some of these things that we are doing is causing the problems mentally, physically, spiritually that we have.
Exactly.
And if you're ready to break that spell, then you're in the right place. Is that the cat in the back?
Yeah. You know, they're nocturnal, so she's all over the place right now.
See, saying right on.
Yep.
So, welcome everybody. You are here. We are on collective week, our collective cleanse week. This is the final week number 4. So, I'd like to. You want to tag on to anything we just talked about real quick, Mahdi? Oh, he's gone. He's going to go get the cat. So, in the last week, it was really interesting because I was traveling. As you see, last Monday, I was in a whole nother place, and I was traveling the other day, and you know, I forgot to do my cleanse because I had to get to the airport. You know, the planes, it was all this stuff going on. And, oh my gosh, and be there extra early because all these things are happening. And I slipped and did not do my cleanse.
Oh,
I was like, oh my gosh, I've cheated. I didn't cheat on purpose, but I didn't do it. So what I did was, when I realized what happened, I took the cleanse and I did it twice in one day. So I did once in the morning, the next day, once in the morning, and once in the evening. And I've been asked a lot of times by people who I was asked how, for traveling people, because I deal with a lot of folks who are in the entertainment industry and they're doing the cleanse also. And they said, well, you know, traveling all these bottles is crazy. I said, well, here's a thing that I've done for people. You could take all your bottles, everything, and put it in everything except one bottle of the Paracleanse. Okay. Keep one bottle of the Quantum Paracleanse, which for those of you who don't know, that's the green one, the Quantum Paracleanse. You're going to get 2 of these in your cleanse, right? Put one to the side. Get a 16-ounce bottle, a 16-ounce jar. Hopefully it's going to be amber colored or dark, because light will help to degrade these products a lot faster. And put all the other bottles, all of them, in that one bottle. And do 1 tablespoon a day. And that will bring you 28 days. But the trick is, for the first week, for the first 6 days, you're going to still build up with 1 bottle of Paracleanse. So you're doing 1 dropper the first day, 2 the second day, 3 the third day, 4 on the 4th day. You keep going to, you get to day 6, you're taking 6 droppers of the Quantum Paracleanse. Okay. And then on 6, you just keep doing 6. And when this bottle is gone, you put it to the side. Then you take your second bottle. And I didn't say it correctly in the beginning. You're going to put everything in 1 bottle, except your 2 bottles of Quantum Paracleanse. So you're only going to have 3 bottles. You're going to have a 16-ounce bottle with everything else in it. And you're going to have these 2 little bottles. So that makes it easier for people who are traveling. So you're going to build up to day 6, and then you stay on 6 droppers for the rest of the cleanse. And then when you get to 2 weeks, you're going to open your second bottle. But everything else is in a 16-ounce bottle, an amber bottle. I should have brought one up here from my lab, but I didn't. And you pour everything in there, and you take a tablespoon every day. That's a way that you can actually do this in travel, so you can be on your cleanse while traveling. But then it's also easy just to wrap everything up and take it with you. Mm-hmm. But if you miss a day, all you do is, when you realize on the next day, you take your cleanse in the morning, and you take it again in the early evening. Don't take it in the late evening, because if you take it in the late evening, you may be up all night. Because these herbs are energizing, and they're made to work on a circadian rhythm based on the sun and based on where the moon's positions are. So, or the moon position is. This is a circadian cleanse, which goes 28 days, so that you can change the environment of the parasites. When you change their environment, you change the way they feed, their feeding time, their mating time. They live based on a 28-day cycle. Mm-hmm. And actually, we do too.
Yes.
Our bodies live on a circadian cycle. Is that right, Dr. Mahdi?
Yeah. The body literally heals in 28-day cycles.
I've been told that you could break almost any habit in 28 days. A full cycle. Some people say, well, 21 days, 28 days locks it in. So while you're doing this program, you're breaking habits, you're breaking spells. Because we have allowed ourselves to be put under a spell. Notice how I said that. We've allowed ourselves, because we could sit here and blame and point the fingers all day about what they did and what they're doing to us. But we're allowing it because you walk in the store and buy this stuff. Nobody made you do it. You know, once you come into the light and you wake up, that's when you change. You didn't know at first, but now you know. You begin to take full charge of your life. But the more you point the finger and become a victim, you actually weaken your immune system. You weaken your immune system by having the victim mindset, the victim archetype. We think that's powerful. We studied all this stuff. We're woke now, right? We know what the government's doing, the chemtrails, and who did this and what year they did this to us. And it's always what they did. And it's my neighbors, they do this. And my uncle, is his fault. It's my mother and father. We have to begin to be accountable for ourselves, which cools down our system. It regulates the system. Dr. Mahdi mentioned, cortisol, the stress hormone. What happens, Dr. Mahdi, when we're always pointing the finger? We're always angry at somebody else. We're always in somebody else's business. We're always jumping quick because something happened with the stars and there's some gossip out there. What happens to our hormones? What happens to our body when we're always in that state?
Well, there's only 2 potential states as far as the nervous system is concerned that we can be in. One of connection or protection. And the emotion that governs connection is love. The emotion that governs protection is fear. and all the derivatives of fear, and you have all the derivatives of love. And so when we find ourselves worried and concerned about other people, allowing these distractions to agitate us, frustrate us, we find ourselves in this state of protection. And the body has a hormonal uh, chemistry that's created when it goes into protection, primarily with cortisol being the main stress hormone. But you also have epinephrine, norepinephrine, which we also know as adrenaline, that starts to pump through the bloodstream. And when cortisol is being produced, is not meant to be long term. It's not meant to be going on for days. It's designed to deal with a stress response in the moment, handle that stress response in a fight or flight scenario, or you shut down scenario. But then once the threat is over, that system is offset by oxytocin and other hormones coming in, to regulate it. When we're constantly watching the news, constantly worried about what's happening with whomever, and most of these people we don't even know. But as far as our nervous system is concerned, specifically our brain, it doesn't understand that. The subconscious or autonomic nervous system doesn't understand that. So it literally acts as if this is happening to you. And because of that, it creates the chemistry for that from a place of protection. And cortisol lasting for long durations of time in the body starts to weaken the immune system. It starts to weaken other hormones, because cortisol, testosterone, all your androgens and estrogens uh, are based on cholesterol. They're all cholesterol-based hormones, and they're part of what we call a steroidogenic pathway. And when those hormones are constantly being subverted over into cortisol because of stress, you start disrupting testosterone production. It becomes imbalanced. Estrogen production becomes imbalanced. Progesterone production becomes imbalanced. And all the metabolites from those particular parent hormones. And so you end up creating a very interesting physiology when we maintain this chronic state of protection or stress. And it impacts the nervous system, your ability to think, your ability to uh, focus, your ability to hold memory. All those things are impacted for the nervous system. You're now more susceptible to cardiovascular issues. Of course, we know the main one, high blood pressure, is a stress response, um, which can also damage, other systems like the kidneys, the liver, your digestive system. All these things become compromised. And what is very fascinating, as more stress in the city is being created in the body due to the stress, because cortisol in and of itself is an acidic hormone. So it's going to create more acidity in the body by also creating more inflammation in the body. And so what's very interesting as far as the digestive system is concerned, because the brain and the digestive system are in consistent and constant communication with one another. It's a bidirectional exchange taking place all the time. And so when the brain is recognizing that we're in this state of stress, worried about what's happening with whomever, um, and our unconscious autonomic nervous system can't differentiate between you thinking, for example, about P. Diddy and what's happening with him and all the stuff that they put out about that, or what's now happening with Trump or whatever else is going on. The nervous system doesn't differentiate. It thinks this is actually happening to you. So it creates the physiology for it. So your brain is taking this information in, sending those signals down to the digestive system, which it literally is a brain in and of itself with the mesenteric plexus there. That begins to open up, with that stress, open up opportunities for viruses, parasites, and opportunistic bacteria and fungi to literally take over the space. and the beneficial bacteria are now more compromised and began to lose their populations to these opportunistic pathogens, parasites, viruses, bacteria, and fungi coming in and just taking up residence and taking over the area. And then that adds a whole different component to it. And as Doc has educated us so many times about how then that information with these new pathogens taking up residence in the GI tract, they start to send their signals up to the brain, starting to alter your thinking so you focus on these things even more. So you're looking at the world through a very negative conditioned lens, and you begin to behave from those conditions. So you create this very interesting cycle of acidity, and in essence, the personality becomes corrosive. The personality becomes acidic. Your relationships become acidic. Your very life becomes more of an acidic experience for you because of you constantly taking in information. And as I was saying earlier, it's adaptive physiology. The body adapts to the environment in which it finds, internally and externally. So if your focus has been on these external things that are not of a high vibration and negative, the body will then adapt this physiology to accommodate that environment. And this is what takes place for us every single day, based on the choices we're making about what we allow to enter into these 7 gates, these 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth.
Here's what I'm going to do. It's a bunch of people over here on Instagram are saying, "Where are you, Dr. B? We didn't get. I guess we didn't post today on Instagram."
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to do a quick live here on Instagram for our people who are.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes. We're actually now live on Instagram and on Facebook and YouTube. And we're talking to Dr. Mahdi over on YouTube. So go to YouTube, Dr. B Serious. Right now, Dr. B Serious on YouTube to join our discussion. We are involved in our 4th week of our collective cleansing and detoxification. And right now we're talking about, cleansing from certain habits, certain ways that we have. And Dr. Mahdi is eloquently breaking down some of the things about how hormones are creating our life. So for those of you who are over on IG, go to your YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and come on in and join this conversation so you can see Dr. Mahdi. And in a few minutes, I'm going to get deep into the cleanse again because I'm on the 4th week of the collective cleanse. I want to thank everybody who's doing the cleanse with us. For those of you over there on IG, we slipped and didn't put a post to let you guys know that we were doing this tonight. So people are coming in. Yeah, come on in. Go over if you're on IG to YouTube. We're talking about collective cleansing, detoxifying our minds, bodies, and getting away from certain habits that are creating an acidic environment inside of us. So that's on YouTube. Doctah B Serious. That's DOCTAH, the letter B, and Serious, SIRIUS on YouTube. Come on over and join us right now on YouTube. We're live. So there's a lot of things going on. That's right. This weekend, I'm going to be with Dr. Who am I going to be with this weekend? Where am I at? You start traveling from place to place, you got to wake up and say, well, where am I? I guess I'm right here right now. Oh, with Black Magic. I'm doing something with Black Magic this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's a poetry thing. What's the name of it? Something of the Gods. Anyway, this weekend, some of y'all that know, come on and join us this weekend, this Saturday, if you're in Atlanta. So I'm going to log off on IG right now. All of you come over to YouTube. Dr. B Serious on YouTube. And I'll see y'all over there. Right? All right. So, Mahdi.
Yes, sir.
You said something really interesting that I didn't think about. You said that cortisol is an acidic hormone.
Hmm.
Can you break that down?
Yeah, it literally, it creates more acidity uh, in the body because it's inflammatory. And so this is why when you have it just continuously flowing in the body due to perceived stress, you have what I like to call exogenous sources of stress, and that comes from perception. And then you have the endogenous sources of stress, things like inflammation. And so cortisol acts as an inflammatory agent to create inflammation for protection purposes. But also it is going to be distributing blood through the extremities, so it takes blood away from the internal organs because you're in this fight or flight state. And so this creates an acidic environment that over a long time creates an extraordinary amount of inflammation in the body that then, of course, can compromise key systems, specifically the nervous system and cardiovascular system. And so the more cortisol is being produced, the more acidic the body ends up becoming. And then you end up getting what is called systemic inflammation. And so a lot of the conditions that we have that we call diseases are really due to just excess cortisol and acidity of the body and the inflammation that it's creating.
So a lot of folks feel like once they become woke or get conscious, all they got to do is.
Can you explain that? What does woke mean?
I'm confused. Dick Gregory said, if you're awake, you're woke. If you, see, things get real commercial. They get real, even conscious. If you're here and your senses are working, you're conscious. But we sometimes like to try to put things into like a category. He's woke because, you got to have locks. You got to wear a certain garb. You got to talk a certain way. You got to be mad about the same things everybody else is mad about, or have knowledge and eat all the same way. It's really, I don't know. It just gets cheap. It's like commercial to me. What is woke? Now, being aware, right? And almost everybody who's awake is aware. So I'm not sure what we should call this, but we try to almost make it like religion. We got to call it something instead of being something.
Is it a particular paradigm of thinking that these people have?
I think
that they're assessing with this term woke.
And now the woke thing is like, political people are using this woke thing.
That's why I'm curious about it, because I hear like they said this woke faction or this woke element. We gotta shut down this woke agenda, and I'm like, okay, what does woke mean?
Yeah, it's weird. It's strange. A lot of the things that we're involved with are kind of strange naturally. They don't make a lot of sense. But we like titles. We like groups. We like, becoming tribal, and we want to agree with everybody in the tribe. But none of us totally are in agreement with everything until we become essentially, how should I say? First, we have to get full of ourselves. You know what I used to say? Oh, he's full of himself. What is the problem with being full of yourself? What does that mean? I'm full of myself. Should a certain part of me be empty of myself? Should I have certain parts of my brain and my body that's empty of me? And what else takes that space?
Yeah.
Because something always takes the space. There's nothing vacant. There's nothing empty in space.
Yeah. Nature abhors a vacuum.
You see what I'm saying? There is no vacuum. So it gets real deep, because I've been told, well, Dr. B, you don't look like you're conscious. I've been told that because I didn't have locks, or I didn't have this, or I didn't wear what somebody might say was African garb, or when you become an indivisible individual. And I like all of you who are here right now to go to our website, elevationtime.com, and join the newsletter list, because I realized that there's a lot of things that I take for granted that I know that I just shoot out of my mouth. So I was in this place. I don't know if I mentioned it last week. I was in this place and his brother was in this restaurant and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're Dr. B." And he was telling me he's got all these issues and he has trouble moving forward. I said, "Well, we could change this in just a few seconds." And I gave him three basic things to do that would change his life. And when he was done, he said, "Oh man, I got a long way to go. That's going to be hard." I said, whoa. It's not going to be hard. I just gave you three simple things. Simple things. And he said, "Missy, that's simple to you, Dr. B. You just know this stuff." And the light came on. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing little small classes on one simple concept that I have learned to live all my life, or that I've learned from one of my 13 teachers, and just talk about that one thing. Because a lot of times I'll go on for 6 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours, or whatever, about a lot of things. But I'm going to be looking for a group of people who are really dedicated, who would like to be a part of this class. I may start it in the next couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? So if you're ready to invest in something where I will be giving you things that you can actually use, one concept like this one I'm speaking on now, being indivisible, an indivisible individual. What do you think that means? An indivisible, that means I cannot be divided from myself. I'm full of myself. I am. "Oh, Dr. B, you're just full of it." Full of what? You would assume that means full of poo-poo, full of shit. No, I'm full of me. I am being 100% Dr. B serious all the time. I don't turn this on. You know, Mahdi, when we're out, man. I remember one time Dr. Mahdi and I, we were in a grocery store. We were walking and I stopped. And he kept walking. He says, "What's happening, Dr. B?" And I was just staring. I don't know if you remember this. And we were in the candy aisle. Remember this? And I looked at the candy and I says, "Man, I can't believe I'm in the candy aisle, man. And I'm not going crazy."
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
You started telling me about how you were as a little boy and how you would just
hooked on candy.
Yeah.
I could, you could smell that candy, man.
Of course you can. Yeah.
You can smell the sugar and all the flavorings and artificial thises and that's. But I stood there and I realized, I said, wow, I have broken the spell. I don't desire the candy. You know how long it takes to break that code, especially when you were raised this way? Some of the things that you called love when your parents gave you a candy, you know what I'm saying? Or a trinket or a cookie or something because you were being good. And that love for your parents causes you to now still seek that love in the thing, even though your parents may not be here. You see, they may not be with you, but you still equate some of those things, some of those actions, some of those habits as love in your subconscious, because your subconscious, as Dr. Mahdi says, basically your subconscious doesn't know that there's anything outside of you. Your subconscious cannot perceive or conceive of anything outside of you. Everything's happening in you. So that love for your parents, which you've connected to the love of certain foods, certain ways, certain habits, even folks who smoke cigarettes, sometimes you find out that grandpa or their mother or father smoked and they can't quit because love is connected to sometimes your habits. Your version of love is connected to whatever activities they had. That's what comforts you. That makes you feel good. Oh man, it reminds me of my mother, my father. If some of these things, they have to be broken. These are spells. But I realized in that grocery store that after many, many years, because most of the times I wouldn't go, even when I became, more healthy, I wouldn't go down the aisle, the candy aisle.
Oh, wow. Just for the temptation.
Wow. Snickers bars? Mounds, remember the Mounds, the ones
with the
coconut?
Oh yeah,
with the high fructose corn syrup and
yes sir,
with the little almond. The almond was healthy. I used to say, well, this almond is healthy.
That's the almond joy. Yes,
it was joyful. See, you say almond joy, it is connected to you now. It's saying this thing is going to make you joyful. When that's not going to make you joyful, that's going to put you in what? You're going to go into to fight or flight mode. Your body, when you eat toxic stuff, your body is ready to go to war.
Yes.
Is this right?
Correct.
Yeah. Even though you like it, you love it, but you're doing something that's against what? Survival. So imagine every day you're going through this, cortisol rush because your body has to try to get you back on it doesn't have to try. It naturally is attempting to create homeostasis.
Yeah, exactly. It's always seeking health and seeking homeostasis. And Doc, I like to tell people that the body doesn't know disease; it only knows various states of health.
Wow.
And the amount of expression of health and life you're afforded is based on the conditions in which the body's finding itself internally and externally.
Oh, you got to say that again, brother. Say that one more time and say it slow.
Said that first, the body only knows health and various levels of it. And the amount of health that you are afforded is based on the environment in which the body is finding itself internally and externally. And it will afford you amount of health based on that environment. And so if your environment is one where it's acidic, uh, and you're in a hostile, external environment, relationship, work, etc., it will accommodate and adjust itself to that and show up perhaps in the form of, diabetes or whatever. And it's literally healthy. And we call it diabetes, but it's adapted its physiology to accommodate the environment that we had quote unquote diagnosed as diabetes in the medical world, but it's literally a state of health. Same thing with cancer, is a state of health based on the condition in which the body finds itself. We alter the conditions. The body has no choice but to alter its physiology to the new conditions. And so anything that you're dealing with from a quote unquote health standpoint is literally your body trying to afford you as much life as it can under those conditions. So
Whoa.
if
You got to say that again. That piece right there.
any condition that you're dealing with, your body is giving you that, affording you that state based on the condition. It cannot do anything else. It's the law. It's the law of homeostasis. It can only seek life. It can only seek health. It can only seek balance. But the balance varies based on the condition. So if you are living a life in such a way that your health is being expressed in this limited capacity, where you don't have the vitality, you don't have the strength, you don't have, the functionality of a particular organ operating at its highest expression, this is due to the condition. And this is why the cleansing is so important, because you literally are altering the conditions, the internal and external conditions when you do cleanses like yours. And so the body has no choice but to adapt itself to that state. And that's the health that it's in. And it can only give you that health based on what it is afforded to work with as far as conditions, environments are concerned. And so the goal of all of us in this life is to alter our conditions in such a way that we create optimum environments that the body now has a capacity to thrive in at this highest expression that is genetically designed to function at.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mahdi Brown. Wow. I really love the way you put things and lay it down. We are very intelligent people today. We receive a lot of information from a lot of places. But it's just good to know some people who are giving you information that's not tainted. And it's because some of us who teach lean towards a certain belief system. We lean toward a certain religion. I'm going to give you health, but I'm going to give you from this particular point of view. If you join my group, instead of just let's make it be flat, and this is for everybody, just looking at the way the body naturally functions without an ideology of you got to do it my way, and there's only one way. I've had a lot of folks say, well, Dr. B, what makes your, total body cleanse or your elevated total body cleanse better than somebody else's? And I said, well, who said it was better? They expect me to do a commercial and tell them how good my stuff is, because today, one of the most powerful tools in sales is fear.
Big time.
Even in politics, fear. How bad the other person is going to make it. This is what's going to happen if you vote for them. Very seldom do people even tell you nowadays what they're going to do. They tell you what somebody else is going to do to you if you don't go with them. And fear is also the fear of missing out. So a lot of times we buy into things because we don't want to be alone. We buy into it. The person who talks the loudest and who's the strongest, you know what I'm saying? The person who shows the most skin or the most biceps or the most breast or has the flyest locks or the biggest earrings or the biggest jewelry, that's the one I'm going to go with. I remember, when we were growing up in the streets back in the day, it was crazy because like the people who were like the pimps and the players, the brothers who was driving the car seemed like they had the money. We wanted to be like them because a lot of times you automatically want to be more like the winners, what you perceive to be the winners. But we also sometimes subconsciously perceive those who are abusing us as the winners. We sometimes we view the oppressor as the winner. And we take on oppressive activities. And remember, the oppressor is like a parasite. For somebody to oppress you, they need your energy, because a parasite lives in or on another being and uses that being for food or for resources or for energy. Yes. So you have people and beings who are parasitic and they need you. So think about that for a minute. Now, you've been under the rule of parasites for so long. Now you're in position and you maybe have gotten a little bit free and you don't realize you was raised by parasitics. So you've become a parasite. A lot of us, with our judgment, the way we talk about other people, the way we view other people, vote, that's a parasitic activity. So while we're cleansing, we also it would do best or do well to not get involved in parasitic activity. Look around yourself. You see what I'm saying? Go through a checklist of activities that you have that you're doing all the time that could be considered parasitic. How much business are you in of other people's? While you're on, if you could go 7 days, take it the last 7 days of the cleanse and get out of everybody else's business. Can you imagine? You don't need to watch everything that they're saying in politics. What he did day 1, day 2, he did this. And they keep showing you stuff to keep you in fear, because when people are in fear, they become inferior, and they start acting, right, because of that cortisol, acidic. They start talking and gossiping to everybody. You heard what happened today. You heard how bad it is. He fired this person and the next day this person happened. And then this thing went on. And there's so many terrible things to look at. We sometimes look away from the great things because everything is tied to its opposite. So how bad it is, at the same time, if we look just the other direction, how good is it? Exactly. What is good? What happened today that's good? Are you breathing? You see what I'm saying? It's not about judging somebody else's stuff. It's not about, my products versus another brother or sister's products out there. Because then, in order for me to sell you really good, I need to take you to the fear paradigm. And what happens if you don't cleanse or do my cleanse? Now, we all know that cleansing is going to help create homeostasis and balance, but you have to go with the vibe that you feel. But in order to get into what you feel, you have to also detoxify from some feelings that are not yours. Some of your feelings and perceptions and ways and walks and ways of view, there's another one, new one, ways of view. Some of your ways of view are based on you living and brought up in you've been conquered. You've been oppressed. Something is eating you. Something's taking your view, and it seems like that's the winner. They're the winners. So subconsciously, you want to be more like the winners. But winner is a person who is truly in themselves. doing their very best to be themselves. You can't divide them from their natural self and their natural truth, no matter how loud you talk, no matter how strong it is. You see what I'm saying? No matter how good it looks, you need to have yourself wrapped up. You got to get you together by yourself. Become one at oneness with yourself first. Now, this goes with what you're choosing to eat, because food creates mood. Some things that you call foods are not foods. They're frankenfoods. They were man-made. They're crossbred, hybridized, engineered. And all crossbreeds aren't bad, by the way. I know we keep hearing, oh, crossbreds are bad. But not all of them are bad. In fact, we almost have to get out of this good and bad type thing. That's another thing. What's good, what's bad. Those are points of view. But when we get into a place where we can create our own peace, our own harmony, sing our own song for a second, get full of yourself, become an indivisible individual where I cannot be divided from the way that I am naturally. But to do that, you've got to get away from certain ways of eating for a certain amount of time. 28 days changes everything. 28 days without, getting involved in other people's business. 28 days without gossip. 28 days about being mad about things that you don't even have any proof that actually happened.
Facts.
You see, we keep talking about, and from the beginning of time. When we say that, you don't even know what the beginning of time is. Time has no beginning. We talk about how old man is. You don't know how old man is or how old woman is, because the history has been all truncated and given to you. They even tell you where you're from and what you should think about certain things. I was looking at, I went by the TV last night and the Grammys was on. I couldn't watch it. It was so many lights and was blinking and was so much artificial intelligence and glitter and glam. I'm like, wow, this is greatness today. And the money, and you got to have this, and it's okay if you're into that. I'm just saying, finding what's natural for you is also important while you are cleansing. And when you're cleansing, it also is going to take courage. Courage to be yourself, by yourself, with yourself. That's why we created this collective, so we could be together and do this in oneness. So what we're doing is seeking oneness, seeking ground, seeking balance. And if you're here and you found yourself here, then welcome to the group. You're a part of the group called Balance. Let's call the group Balanced. We get out of maybe woke. Let's call it homeostasis. You know what I'm saying? Elevated homeostasis.
Nice.
You see? And you don't have to dress a certain way, look a certain way, act a certain way, because all that is being programmed by the oppressors. And you have to be careful that you don't join in with the enemy and do some things that you think is being woke and being conscious and, being angry all the time and not realizing that's a program to keep you upset, to keep you feel like you're missing out on something that you didn't really, it's not yours. You don't own it. We're working on being within ourselves in balance without the parasitic mindset. So this past week, what I noticed was energetically, I heard stuff in my head. Oh man, you need to get off this cleanse, man. It's time to get off, man. You've gone 3 whole weeks. You don't need to keep doing it. And I already eat this way anyway, so I didn't have to change the way I eat. But little things that seemed like I was forgetting. Like when I traveled, I forgot. What made me forget? I could have did my herbs before I got on the plane, before I even got in the Uber. Your mind is sometimes controlled by habits, by parasites, even by bacteria. Our world is not what we think it is. The micro world, or was that what they call it? The micro world?
Yeah, microorganisms. Yeah, the micro world. Yeah.
The microorganisms are a big part of who we are. And I also was being moved to eat certain things that I might not even normally eat. I smelled some chicken cooking. I was driving down one of those streets in LA, and there was a place I used to go to that used to have the best chicken. Man, they had smoke coming out. The barbecue chicken smoke was all over the street. You know those barbecue spots, man. The whole neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And people was in line. They've been in line for 30 years at this place to get this barbecue. And I used to be right there in line. And he was calling me. I had to actually focus and turn the music up and everything and drive past this area really fast. Because, man, do you know how good this chicken was? And you look at the people, look at all the people. And something in me was saying, just go ahead, just try a little piece. Just a little piece of chicken. I haven't had chicken in so many years. It's crazy. But being back in my old stomping grounds, on my old neighborhood, was triggering me to get off the cleanse, cheat a little bit, right? And go back to your old habits. Because that was joy back. I mean, I remember the times when I had so much joy on those streets hanging out in these neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when you go back to family, you go back to your friends, and you know they're doing a certain thing, and you got to be very focused and clear about what your goal is. You have to have a very clear direction that you're moving in. You have to have what's called the telos. A telos is when you are focused on an end result, and you have the end in mind. So I had to drive quickly past the chicken spots, and they were all over the place because they got spots, man. And you go in the city, man, you know. Whew. And when I got past it, I had to talk to myself. And if you're not ready to talk to yourself about what's going on and realize that you have got to stay focused and stay clear from the mass distraction, which is coming in through your ears, it's coming in through your skin, through your eyes, it's all around you. But to be an indivisible individual means that you are focused only on a goal. Mahdi, before I start taking the cleanse and we talk about your trip that's coming up, can you talk a little bit about food and mood?
Well, that's a subject all in itself. Actually, working on a book, actually translating a book from Dutch. We had it's called Mood Food. Our food is information. To put it in the most simplest terms, is information. And it has a frequency and vibration to it, and the nutrients of our food, the macro and micro nutrients, are information when the body takes it in. And based on the information, based on the amount of nutrient density, based on the amount of alkalinity and acidity, alters the physiology and the chemistry of the body. What's really fascinating is that all the external things that we call food that we consume, we take in, act as a catalyst. That's all they can do. They can do nothing else. It's a catalyst for the body. It's going to tell the body to create energy draining reactions or energy cultivating responses based on information. For example, if I'm eating processed foods that lack nutrient density, they're basically empty calories from a nutrient standpoint, it's going to elicit an energy draining response. It's going to require the body to pull on its metabolic reserves, its nutrients, in order to digest and process that and break it down. In doing so, it has the high probability of creating more acidity in the body than alkalinity. And one thing we have to keep in mind that the bloodstream has to maintain a very tight pH from 7.35 to 7.45. If it deviates in any way, going less, it becomes acidic. If it goes too high, it becomes a state of alkalosis. It's too alkaline. And so it has to maintain this tight pH balance. And if I'm eating Empty calories and processed foods, I'm creating more acidity in the body. And when more acidity in the body's taking place, it's going to alter the mood. As we were discussing earlier, I was telling you that you have this universe, if you will, that's in your GI tract that we call the gut flora, the bacteria, the viruses, and all the bacteria and viruses. And Doc, you were kind of speaking to this a little earlier. This microbial world makes up in weight between 2 to 6 pounds of your entire body. And those 2 to 6 pounds of the microbes that are in your body, on your skin, have a profound influence and are influenced by the food you put into your mouth. And when they go down into the digestive tract, this information is going to cause either what we call the beneficial bacteria that are there to benefit us, help stabilize our mood, keep us, energetically from an energy standpoint at a high vibration, or it's going to stimulate the opportunistic ones who are going to be energy draining, will alter our mood, make us more acidic in our personality, more angry, more frustrated, more sad, more depressed. We actually ran a study. I think it's the early part of 2000s, where there's two bacteria, lactobacillus bacteria and bifidobacterium bacteria. They're considered beneficial gut flora. When those two colonies are depleted from candida, some parasites, or other opportunistic pathogens that are taking up residence in the gut, and they're depleted, folks who have low lactobacillus and low bifidobacterium will find themselves depressed and anxious, because those two colonies of bacteria stabilize the mood and keep you happy and keep you in a high positive outlook on life. And they're constantly sending up signals to the brain to regulate hormone production and also regulate neurotransmitter activity in the brain through the vagus nerve. And when they're depleted due to stress, depleted due to taking in foods that are acidic, that are processed, that lack nutrient density, their populations start to die off. You find yourself more anxious. You find yourself more depressed. And you even start looking at the world through an anxiety state or a depressed state. And when we elevate those populations through probiotics and getting in prebiotic type foods that start building them back up, the mood changes, the consciousness changes just by altering the food, because you now altered those particular bacteria. So this is how important food is. It acts as a catalyst, as I said, for either energy draining reactions, because it's giving nothing to the body, and the body has to use energy to digest and break it down and absorb those empty calories, or it's going to be energy cultivating responses, because it's bringing in nutrient density. So now the body can take those nutrients and utilize them and store them for higher energy functionality and production. And so the conscious choice we make around what we put into the body temple from a food standpoint has a profound influence on the mood, because in part it literally is impacting the gut flora that have a heavy responsibility in regulating how we perceive the world and also how we feel in the world.
So that goes back to saying that more information is going from the gut to the cranial brain than the other way around.
Absolutely.
So when
Yes.
I was smelling and feeling and the chicken,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
what was happening in me? Now, I haven't had this in a long time, but what was happening is I was on Crenshaw Boulevard and the barbecue chicken was roasting. What? And I'm on the cleanse. I'm supposed to be, oh boy, I got this together now. I'm a conscious eater. What was happening?
Well, those microbes in your intestinal tract that actually have been there for, you know, since you were born, who've been suppressed and deprived because they haven't had their chicken fill. You're now on this cleanse. Things are being shifted around and regulated, so they're going to definitely try to push the initiative to support their agenda because they want to live too. They want to thrive too, and they can keep you at a particular vibration if they are maintained, and chicken can give them that maintenance. You know, by you getting that protein in from that and whatever else they put on the spices for the barbecue, and all that adds to the equation for those particular bugs in the intestines. And they're like, yeah, so they're sending up the signals because okay, I'm gonna digress for I'm gonna go on a little piece here because I think it's important. It's something I mentioned earlier. The body, as this body temple we have, we have 9 gateways, or 9 portals, if you will, that make up this body temple. And these gateways and these portals are literally our ability to engage with the external, the internal's capacity to engage with the external. 7 of the gateways are within the skull, or these portals. And through these portals of the eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth, those portals determine and impact the other 2 portals. The other 2 portals are the anus, the penis for men, the vagina for women. And based on what you take in here through this portal determines what gets access in the other portals and what the other portals actually end up producing. And it's through this exchange of these portals that you're experiencing what you're calling your life. And our responsibility as human beings are to be the gatekeepers of these portals and safeguard them. And if we safeguard them in such a way that we allow in only the most pure, only the most refined, only the most high in vibration and frequency, the entire life experience begins to reflect that. And so our way of navigating in this world and in this realm is literally through these portals or these gateways, and how we govern them and manage them, and what we allow them to access and receive. And so there's consistent engagement of exchange and this balance. And so through these sacred 9 portals or gateways, what we take in here is then what we're able to create from and begin to express back and re-give in the world. And so the more conscious we become and selective, I can't reiterate that word enough, the more selective we become in what we allow in these sacred gateways and portals, has the power to transform our lives in extraordinary ways and create lives we can't even possibly dream of when we do this. But it requires what Doc was speaking about earlier, that courage, as he talked about for the cleansing. In essence, yeah, you're in essence cleansing, and refining what you allow into these sacred gateways and portals that make up the human experience that we call our lives. And safeguarding them and being selective is the key to having a fulfilled life. And so that's the work we're here to do. Of course, we cannot, for a significant part of our early childhood, we have no control over what are entering into our portals or our gateways, based on the environments in which we enter this life. But as we come into greater understanding of who we are and we begin to make conscious choices, we can begin to overwrite the conditioning of what has entered into those gateways or portals and become more selective with a greater understanding and awareness as we achieve that. And so that's why each of us are all here this evening, and you're being selective in what you allow to enter into your ears, your eyes. And it's through this information, the same way food is information, that you change, you grow, you have the capacity to become more. And what's really fascinating when we think about why food is so important, the very essence and construction of this physical form itself, starting with the nervous system, right? Started from the umbilical cord, started from the gut, and then came into this full form that it is. So this is why this one is so important. That system is so important. And the gut flora there have such a profound influence on the consciousness that occupies the space and the mood of that consciousness that occupies the space and how it engages in this life, because it was the portal through which the whole body temple was built. And once it was built, that portal still energetically is there. So in essence, we do have a 10th one, because this is where you get that gut feeling, what we call in neuroscience, neuroception, that doesn't require any conscious mind to be involved, but you just pick up the energy and things just don't feel right. That still comes from that space where the creation for this body that you call your home started. So yeah, mood and food are very intricately connected because we've been designed that way. And based on what you allow to come into the gateways or portals, the 7 here specifically determine what you're experiencing in your life.
So this is why we offer a nutritional guide along with our 28-day program. And some folks may agree or disagree with some of the choices, but what we're doing is giving you options of foods that can help break some of the habits of eating things that actually may cause more stress on the system, because the body's got to try to digest things. And there's certain groups of people that have certain digestive enzymes that can break certain things down. Like a lot of folks don't have lactase, which is the enzyme that's supposed to be, that's present when we are able to drink milk. So if you don't have lactase, then you can't break down lactose very easy. So that's going to become mucus. It's going to become calcified. It's going to become toxic in the system, And I noticed there are certain people they say, well, how come we can't eat certain rice? Well, it depends on the type of rice, because, you might have a group of people, you say, well, they eat white rice all the time. Well, over thousands and thousands of years, that digestive tract has adapted and has certain enzymes to break down certain foods. So we're just saying we're attempting to get to a neutral place where we can reset the system. So the foods that we've chosen in the nutritional guide are ones that we feel would be, very helpful for creating balance. And yes, wild rice is a really good choice because it has a lot of the nutrition that we, that our body desires, a lot of those minerals. The body really is looking for minerals.
Yeah.
Minerals. The rest of this is bulk. A lot of it, we're trying to get down to those minerals. So for those of you, And I'm going to actually take my herbs right now. But for those of you who are on the cleanse, who have been on the cleanse for the last week or the last 3 weeks or the last since we started this, you can let us know in the chat real quick some of your experiences, how you're feeling, how it's going for you. And those of you who are just starting, I think almost everybody has received their cleanse who started in the beginning. And like I said, we will apologize for what was happening with the mail and the weather and all of that, but that's just the way it goes. It's always something to test us to see if we're going to keep our courage and have our resolve. And there are some people who are saying that they didn't get their cleanse yet. Where can they get it? You can go to elevationtime.com. Elevationtime.com. There's 2 versions of the cleanse. There is the total body. Let's go to, I think I have a picture here. There's the total body paracleanse program. And this one is for systemic parasites. These are parasites that live throughout the system. Our goal here is to not just deal with parasites that are in the colon, in the digestive tract, but the ones that actually live in other organs. Certain parasites have a propensity to live in certain organs, you see. So a lot of folks have these fluke worms that live in their digestive tract that are attracted to the thymus gland. So if you have like benzene or something that's in your environment, it's benzene is in a lot of cleaning products, especially the ones they use that break up oil and things in these, industrial cleaners and things. That benzene will weaken the thymus gland. Well, once the thymus gland becomes weak, these flat worms that they call fluke worms will energetically begin to find the weaker organ. So they'll go swim through the lymphatic system, through the blood system, however they got to get there, and end up in the thymus gland. Well, the thymus gland is like your master immune system organ. That's like the Pentagon. That's where the generals, the captains, and all the people, all the beings, all the entities that run and run your immune system, they are there. And they are now, it's almost like your military, your defense system is off because the thymus gland has been affected by number one, benzene, and then the parasites. So a lot of folks have weakened the immune system because of the chemicals, just the cleansers that we use, the stuff that you got under your sink. Some of this stuff should never be in your home. Some of these things you should never even use. It even says it on the bottle. And it would kill ratches. What is a rat? That's a roach and a rat. It kills ratches. It says right on there.
Nice.
It's supposed to be to clean the oven, but it also kills ratches. What is that? If you smell it, call the 800 number. If you touch it, if you look at it, it could go blind. Just think about it, though. We use these things as cleaning products when we could easily use things like baking soda and vinegar, hydrogen peroxide, borax. I use borax for almost everything, even clothes. So think about that too as you're doing a cleanse. But this total body program is helping to deal with parasites that live throughout the system. Systemic parasites are different than your average parasite that lives in the colon and the digestive tract. So this is that's why it's called a total body paracleanse program, because it's dealing with more than just those parasites that are in the gut. Then we have, let's go back. How do I do this? Nope. Let's go this way. The elevated total body program is a whole nother level. The elevated total body program is not only dealing with systemic parasites, but it's dealing with ones that we call energetic parasites, non-physical parasites. Some people call them spiritual parasites. Also toxoplasma, which is one of the superbugs. There's a whole group of bugs called superbugs that toxoplasma controls the mind. Get the book. This is your brain on parasites. How tiny creatures manipulate or our behavior and shape our society. This is a really good book by Kathleen McAuliffe. And here's the book right here. And it talks about how parasites like toxoplasma and some other ones are actually controlling our mindset. So you think that it's you, but a lot of times it's these bugs that live in your system. And your average herbs cannot get to certain organs to actually eliminate or eradicate these parasites. So we created the elevated total body program. This is our number one choice all over the world right now. This is world famous. And folks, it changes your lives. It helps you focus on who you are, becoming an indivisible individual, getting rid of the things that are controlling you, even the mindsets that you created. The parasitic mindset is a whole thing. Just thinking that you need others and somebody's coming to save you, and whether this whole beings that want to control your mind and control who you are. They're parasites. They use your energy. You are responsible for your energy, and if you want to give it away, that's up to you. But to get to a place where you can contain yourself, be your best self, and stop looking for love and looking for joy and become joyful, become love. Stop looking to get married, be evenly yoked with yourself. That's what this program is helping people do. It's changing folks' lives. Folks are waking up, never mind being woke. Wake up. And everything in this program is working and helping your body assist itself in detoxing and also rebuilding. It's very important to remember that a lot of folks are into cleansing, detoxing all the time. I'm not sure that's that healthy, because unless you're replacing some of the nutrients with healthy nutrients and minerals, then you're stripping your body constantly. Just like drinking distilled water all the time. It begins to suck minerals out of your body, because distilled water is considered empty water or magnetic water. It has nothing in it. So that's why we suggest that you drink spring water, and in glass if you can. Or if it's in plastic, get it out of that plastic as soon as possible. So this is the elevated total body program for those of you who don't have it. Some of you are actually going to be going for 2 to 3 months on the program, which is even better, because now you're going deeper into the cellular material and detoxifying from, sometimes, decades and decades of toxins. And toxins are not just the bugs and the chemicals. It's also activities and habits, as we've been talking about today. So the discount code for those of you who would like to get the cleanse or get another one is collective4. You'll get 10% off of $99 or more in your cart. And that's good until Sunday night at midnight. That's collective4. So when you check out, at elevationtime.com, you put collective4 and you'll receive 10% off. And those of you who are members, as you know, you get 10% off of everything all the time. And if you use this discount code, you'll get another 10% off. So that's 20% off for those of you who would like to go and, take care of this thing in a whole other way. Because this year, notice all the distraction that's happened in the first month. Notice what's going on. The news is crazy. Why? Because they know that this year is the year when you can complete your mission. This is a 9 year. It's about you really doing what you need to do. Mahdi's going to talk about his retreat. Some folks are like, I got to be on that retreat. So, because I need to complete by getting rid of some of these things and connecting back to the earth, connecting back to the mountains, connecting back to the soil, connecting back to your birthright, your birthplace, connecting back to all those things that connects you to nature, getting out of the city for a minute, getting out of the mass distraction and the blue light and all of those things that are basically, creating trauma and drama. But don't be fooled that this is it. It's getting worse. Things are getting bad. Whenever they show you a lot of that, guess what? The opposite is happening. Everything is connected to its opposite. Everything is connected to its opposite. So I see some people saying, yes, I'm going to go 3 months. And 3 months really is life-changing. Doing the program for 3 months, and after you do it 28 days, you see it's not hard to do. 3 months changes your life forever. Especially some folks were dealing with things like eczema and things like that. A lot of autoimmune system things, or what we call chronic illnesses, 3 months. Chronic imbalances, 3 months, 3 moon cycles. And that whole season, whenever you start, that whole season, it begins to move you towards your goals, which is to find balance, to be healthy, to be well, to be natural. Some folks have no idea what it's like to be well and to be natural. And what we're finding with this program is that it's taking folks to a whole nother level. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to take my cleanse for today because I waited till now. So I'm in the week number 4. So this is my last 6 days of the cleanse. And the quantum paracleanse, right? We're going to take the quantum paracleanse and we're going to take 6 of those because after day 6, you're staying on 6 droppers for the rest of the cleanse. So you're building up to day 6 so that you're hunting the parasites. Please read your instructions. Folks call on the phone. Well, Dr. B, did you read the book? Well, I didn't really read the book. Read the booklet. It breaks it down so you can understand, overstand, understand, exostand exactly what's going on. So we're going to do 6 of these today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm on the second bottle of quantum paracleanse because the first bottle is only going to last you for the first week. Lax ease is important because lax ease helps the peristalsis, helps you gently move some of that matter out of your your colon. 1, 2, 3. Some folks say, well, Dr. B, I don't need to take that because I go regularly. Parasites will take over and they'll start choking your colon to stop you from getting rid of them. These are parasites. These are like alien bugs. Their thing is survival. They will do whatever they got to do. They will play with your mind. They'll play with your mouth, have you saying things you normally wouldn't say, your attitude. So just keep in mind that this is a battle between you. It's not a battle. It's a challenge. It's not a battle because we're not killing anything.
Yeah.
We're just moving things around into their proper place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything has its proper place.
So new life. This one is your minerals. This one's a blood detoxifier, blood builder, and it has 94 minerals. Folks talk about Irish moss. It's got Irish moss. Irish moss is good, but I like kelp even better. Kelp, they say, has even more minerals than Irish moss. And it also has almost all the products here have Celtic sea salt. That's what we start with. The water that we use is Celtic sea salt water.
Oh, nice.
On every product that I create, it's always based in Celtic sea salt water. Yeah. And then we also use minerals from the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef they've got some of the most pristine waters in the world. It's so deep. And those minerals are so strong. And that's like the primordial waters that began life. So we're using some of that in these herbs too, in these products. So new life, 1, 2, 3. You can put them right in your mouth, or you can put them all in, hot water, tea. Put them in your smoothie as long as you get it in. It's okay. Timeless Man for the men. 1, 2, 3. Be careful with that one. Men tend to want to do more of that one because they got more they want to do. Okay. And for the elevated total body program, there's 2 more. There's organic vitamin C tonic. We're going to do 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. And the dropper full is not where you fill the whole dropper up. It only comes up about 1 inch. Okay, that's a dropper full. The Master Mushroom Tonic is a little different. We're going to do 6 of those. So this is 12 of some of the most essential mycelium or mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoo, this stuff is good. I gotta admit, it's really good. And that mushroom tonic is going to go deeper then you know what herbs can do. Mushrooms, the mycelium can actually look for DNA that's not yours. It can do things on a whole nother. We don't even totally understand the whole mycelium network. It's still a mystery. But that's what differentiates between the total body and the elevated total body. It's the mushroom elevated. It's not in the total body. This vitamin C tonic is in the elevated, but it's not in the the total body program. And yes, the women, they get sacred womb, so they do 3 droppers of their sacred womb. And women, be careful with that, because sometimes we start doing a little too much because we want to live and we want to be alive. And sometimes you want to be alive, you want to express yourself with somebody. And that's okay. But, you know, maybe you should buy an extra bottle for that. You know, actually, for women, a lot of women like this product called Passion, which is not really, it doesn't come in the cleanse, but the Passion elixir is great for social anxiety, creativity, and sensual awareness. That's called Passion. That's a whole nother product. It's not in the program, but this one helps you get going on projects. I feel creative. I need to go. And a lot of times people don't go because they have social anxiety. They're worried about what other people think and what other people are going to feel, and they may not like me, and who's going to blah 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 blah. When you get rid of social anxiety and you don't care what other people think, you're ready to go. So this was like go. And for men who want something who can help them, you know, rise their flagpole, that's the Rise and Shine. And you men out there know about that Rise and Shine, because it goes off the shelves fast. Actually, the Passion and that Rise and Shine go quickly. Those are additives. They're extra. They don't come in the cleanse. Now, what I just did was put a tablespoon of the liver powder, which is really important. This helps to support the kidneys, liver, the spleen, and the pancreas. And I put that in my tea, and we drink that down every day, tablespoon. And some of y'all really like this one, don't you? This is like the best tea you ever had. And you can put all your products in the same tea. You don't have to take them all individually like I did. Ooh-wee. And it's a little late, so I'll probably be up because some of these herbs are energizing. That's why we say we should do most of the program in the day or in the morning or the early afternoon. And then at nighttime, take tranquility so that you can get into a deep REM sleep. So I don't see too many questions. I guess a lot of folks are having a lot of success. Congratulations to you, those of you who are in your last week of the cleanse, and those of you who are going to keep going. Somebody said, Dr. B, you're going to get drunk off that alcohol tincture. First of all, there's very little alcohol in almost any of my products. It's not, we don't use a lot of alcohol. We use a little bit of alcohol in some to pull the essential elements out of certain resins, like wood, things that have a lot of resins in them. You got to break that off and get the alkaloids out by using alcohol. But then there's a way to burn off a lot of the alcohol. When I do my metaphysical herbal class, we're going to talk about that. What's the difference between a water extract or decoction, you know what I'm saying, or a alcohol extract? They're all different. And you certain things, if you extract them in alcohol, you change them. They're no longer adaptogens. So like earlier, Mahdi was saying, what was you were taking your adaptogenic tea?
Yeah, adaptogenic tea. Yep.
What was it? It was
ashwagandha.
So
and lemon
ashwagandha is an adaptogen. It adapts to your body's environment. It only works when it's needed. It shuts itself off and on. If you drink it like he's drinking it as a tea, right? You boiled it, you made a tea, it's a water extract. It's still an adaptogen. But if you extract ashwagandha with alcohol, it no longer is an adaptogen. It's aggressive. It only does one thing. It doesn't turn itself off and on. We're going to be teaching that in our class on, metaphysical herbology, which will be coming up soon. We're still putting that together. So, beautiful. My glucose levels were recently not good. Should I add the liver powder? The question is, were you on the cleanse? Are you on the cleanse and your glucose level is not good? That's a good question. And what are you eating? Hey, Doc. As of today, how are your thoughts on Dr. Willard's water? Dr. Willard's water is actually really good. I used to use that way back in the day. You know, that's really good water if you're getting the real thing. If it's really Dr. Willard, so yeah.
Mm.
Somebody said, "Are you selling your products at the?" That's the name of it. The Nine Ether God Fest. That's the event that I'm doing this Saturday. I'll be there. In fact, come early because I'm on in the beginning, and that's it. I only open the program. So I'll have. It looks like I'm going to have a few products. I'll probably have um, passion. I'll have focus, which is for your mind to help you stay focused on your goals. I'll have focus. I'll have really important. I'll have Dr. B's Master Tonic, and that is for spiritual protection. That's really important right about now because there's so many things coming at us energetically, and even other people's energy. And this shields you. It creates like a dome around your body so that you can stay within your own magnetosphere and not be, caught up. Somebody says, "Can I take my rosemary tincture regularly?" Yes. You can take most of your natural herbs. The only one I say be careful with is like a golden seal. You got to be careful with certain very aggressive herbs. The golden seal is one of them I can mention right away that I would be careful with. Okay. No, somebody said they weren't on the cleanse when I had my blood test since I started the essential balance powder. I guess they're saying, you should actually email me, docb737@gmail.com. docb737@gmail.com. Also, I will be offering a few consultations. My schedule is kind of opened up. As some of you know, I rarely do personal consultations nowadays because of the time constraint, but I will be offering some. So if you would like one, you can email me at docb737@gmail.com or go to the website elevationtime.com and there's an email there. Or if you find our phone number on the website, you can call and we see if we can set something up for you. These are special VIP consultations. This is not just for everybody. They're not just like a little one-off. We're going to go deep. We're going to go quick. We're going to go fast. And I'll give you information that could possibly change your life if you use it. For those of you who are ready to leave here for a minute, whether you're ready to get out of the city and go back to your roots, Dr. Mahdi is offering something that is just amazing. So what we're going to do is we wind things up here. He's going to talk a little bit about his journey that he's offering us. I think it's an amazing thing, a journey that he's been on, and he's changed so much just in the last couple months.
Oh, yes,
Dr. Mahdi, take us on a trip.
Yes. Okay. So what Doc is mentioning is this path to the origins. I'm really just fascinated with how this came about for me. This past year in November, my wife and I were invited to go to Colombia, to the Sierra Nevada, the Santa Marta Mountains, and work with the indigenous elders there. They go by the title of Mamos, which they're the spiritual leaders of the Arhuaco people, the indigenous nation there in the region. One of them, there's four of them there, four indigenous nations. And I didn't have any idea what the impact was going to be and how I was going to change. And we literally left, which was very interesting. We literally left on election day, November 5th. And so when we landed in Bogota, Colombia, we flew out from here in Spain, from Madrid. We arrived at the airport in Bogota, and we got in late. And we looked at I checked my phone and I saw that, Trump had won the election. And it was very interesting because there was a lot of energy going on that day in the US. And of course, since his election and since, him taking office, there's been all this energy, a lot of negativity, and all these, and a lot of people concerned and a lot of fear. My time there in Colombia really showed me what truly matters and what is truly happening. It has nothing to do with the politics in the US or the politics in any country, for that matter, throughout the world. The earth is different from the world. The world is man made, the earth is God made. It's been here. It follows natural law, it follows that balance that I was speaking to you all about earlier. And that law governs and controls us all. And we live in a world where we have the positive and we have the negative, and both maintain the balance. And as human beings, it's our responsibility to kind of stay right in the middle of those two, the positive and the negative, because we both have those within us. You can't be too positive, you can't be too negative. You have to be right there in the center. And when I went to Colombia, that's what I was reminded of. I was back in the origin, back in the source from which we all come, and had the opportunity to connect with this extraordinary planet that made my physical form, that made all of our physical forms in a way that I had not realized it was even possible for a human to have a connection and really feel that connection, not just intellectualize it and conceptualize it, say, okay, yeah, we're one with the earth, we're connected, but actually to feel it and to know it and to experience life from that space. And this is what was shared with me, this ancient wisdom that is as truly as old as the earth itself. And while I was there and all this stuff was going on in the US, when we arrived in the US, I entered into the States November 19th. So we were there for 2 weeks in Colombia and had a different experience of Atlanta, a different experience of just being there. It was like leaving Pandora from the movie Avatar, such as pristine living environment, and entered into the Matrix. That's how it felt for me. But it wasn't that I was swept up in the Matrix. I kind of could navigate it. Like if we think about the movie The Matrix and how, Morpheus and Neo and how they navigated it and they could see the artificialness of it. And that's pretty much what I was able to see. I was like no longer a part of it any longer. I was kind of unplugged, if you will. And what's actually happening in our world, remember, there's the earth, then there's our world, is being dismantled. How we've lived, how we've engaged, because there's a law that governs life, that is governing the universe, that's governing our planet, that never ceases for anything that our world has been in conflict with. And so it's being dismantled, and all the things that are going on right now is a balancing that's taking place that has to happen to restore us back to center, to bring us back to the origin, to source. And so after the experience that I had there, we asked permission if this is something that could possibly be shared with more people. When my wife and I went there, we went there as a couple and two individuals, and this is what they've done. They will work with people as individuals, but they never worked with a group. And because of just the pristine and sacredness of their space and their culture, they really don't allow outsiders into there. We had to literally get permission from the government to enter there. But after our experience, and such a need for this knowledge and this wisdom to be shared with the rest of the world, they gave us opportunity to put this retreat on that we're calling Path to the Origins. And it will be at the end of this month, February 23rd through March 2nd. And the teachers who will be taking us on this path are these mamos, these elders, each with extraordinary gifts. And when I mean extraordinary gifts, things that we hear about sometimes, we can hear, people talk about with regards to the power that a shaman or a spiritual enlightened person may have, but to really be in the presence of it, and not just be in the presence of it, but see that what they know and what they've come to understand and how they live is literally the birthright of us all. And that was what was shown to me there, that we all have this deep rooted connection with Mother Earth, with life, the principle of life itself, and this law of balance. And when we can connect back with the mother, as they so eloquently, articulated that to me, when we connect back with the mother, that's the only teacher we need. We truly begin to connect with the divine. We get to connect with our earthly mother, our heavenly father, the source of all life and creation. We're able to connect with that energy, with that state of being. And through that state, we're able to gain the wisdom, the insights, and how to live in a way that's in harmony with all things, where it begins to harmonize not only who we are physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but it harmonizes how we engage in the world with our relationships, the contributions we're able to make to humanity, the finances we're able to begin to generate and manage in a much more balanced way. All of that is contingent on source that's within us and our ability to balance that out. We've talked at length about that today, this evening, with cleansing and the importance of restoring that homeostasis, restoring that balance. And it goes deeper back to the essence of who we are as human beings. And so through these elders here, these mamos and Saga Dignaries, they're going to be our guides, the ones who have been teaching me and holding space for me spiritually since November. They're still working with me on a spiritual energetic level without me consciously being aware, because this is a space that they hold. And for anyone who will join us, they will be working in the astral cosmic realm on our behalfs, because we're now connected. And they're going to be taking us through some sacred rituals that are the ones that really opened me up personally. And for any of you who are feeling called for this, will open up as well. And there are these 4 rituals here that they're going to take us through. The first is the liberation. And the liberation one was very powerful because they're involving the elements. So the earth, the soil, which is extraordinarily rich and pure there, the sacred rivers, the air, fire, all the elements are used over the course of the time that they work with us. And the liberation one is very powerful, where you are immersed in this ritual and they utilize the river. And what was just confirmed in me, which, through my studies as a naturopathic medical doctor, studying Chinese medicine, is a conclusion that I had drawn, very early in my career in life, about the power of water. They explain literally that the water is, to look at it from a macrocosmic standpoint, water is the blood of the earth, as our blood is literally the water of our bodies. And they're one. And The same way you go through the cleansing process, utilizing the total body paracleanse to clean the blood, utilizing supporting the liver to and the kidneys to cleanse the blood. Our mother, through her sacred waters there, the sacred river that we work with there, cleanses our shadow, our negative energy that not only we've accumulated over the course of our life thus far, but what we came into this world with from 7 generations past, and what we now can cleanse for the next 7 generations to come. And this was a very powerful, extraordinary ritual for me. And there's the joke in our family now is that there was Mahdi before the river, and now there's Mahdi after the river. And that connecting at this level, and that's what I was talking about before, where I felt her. I was able to connect with her at a conscious level. It wasn't just conceptual, but it was literally visceral and feeling and having an experience that I had never had before in that liberation ritual. And then we went through what is called the reconnection, where we recollect our spiritual placenta from everywhere that we've been on this planet. And as I was discussing earlier about how it's through the umbilical cord that this body temple is being made, that umbilical cord is connected to a placenta that is our unique identity. And this is one of the powerful things that they share with me is it's our unique identities through this. And this is where our gifts are. It's like, in essence, the placenta is our bag of gifts that we're coming into this world with. And for most of us, it's lost at birth. It's destroyed, used for research, whatever happens to it. Some, more insightful mothers will harness it or, dry it or encapsulate it and consume it. But the mother who's supposed to consume it is the earth, because it's actually from there where the placenta comes. That is created within our mother's womb. But the raw resources that make the placenta, make the body, come from the Mother Earth. And there's where you register yourself as you come into this planet, this realm. And it's there that your gifts are stored. And now you have the capacity to access all of those gifts that you came into the world with. And so through that ritual, it began to open things up for me, and they continue to unfold because, yeah, I have not had my placenta for decades. And so going through that and recollecting that spiritual essence of my placenta, and then taking into the rituals and ceremony and registering that with Mother Earth has shifted things in extraordinary ways. And then we come from that reconnection into what we call the equilibrium, which is the balancing. And this is beginning where you start to balance. As I was saying, you come to the center where now all the things in your life become balanced. And your body is balanced. Your mind, your soul are all now aligned and centered within you. Your life becomes balanced, and your relationships, your finances, everything begins to align itself with this new connection and new energy that you're operating from because of the liberation. And the last ceremony is what they call the pagamento. As I was saying before, when we come into life from conception, we accumulate a debt because we literally have taken from our mother to make our physical form. And then when we come into life, we continue to take from her food, everything else, from the clothing, our homes, we extract. And there has to be balance. That's the law that governs all life. The entire universe is governed by the law of balance. And so through the ceremony of pagamento, this is where that balance is restored and the payments are made. so that we no longer have the debt to her. And through this ceremony, we're taught how to continue to be in balance with her, no longer accumulating the debt. And for me, it's been quite interesting, since then, as I'm more conscious of things that I'm doing. And even my awareness as a physician, understanding the body temple and how the body was designed to hold the balance and continue to make payments. And for example, it would be me inhaling oxygen into my lungs, using that O2 for energy, for life, for sustenance. And then in return, I re-give back out as payment CO2 that the plants then use, that our mother then uses to create more O2. And that is the give, receive, and re-giving, the balance that's made. It's fascinating that, we become within America and even here in Europe, we're no longer citizens, we're consumers, the American consumer, the Belgian consumer. And this is how we are looked at. And as Doc has been teaching us and educating us, if you're just consuming, and you're not adding any benefit to the host in which you are consuming, you are a parasite. And majority of us in this human family have become parasitic to this planet. And so it's not arbitrary by chance that we are seeing the imbalances that show up in the weather, the imbalances that show up in our lives, because we owe a great debt. And it was through this ceremony here, this pagamento, that we were able to make the proper payments. And the mamos go up into the mountain after the rituals and ceremonies that we do together. And we made those payments. And it was an extraordinary shift for my life, my wife's life. And even we saw that shift in our families because the work we were doing on ourselves, because like I said to you, is generational. So we were seeing that, where there are some issues even showing up in our families, those things started to reconcile and resolve themselves without us interfering or getting even involved with it. Things started to align because we did the work there. And so we are having a privilege to offer it here and now. And it is my hope that eventually we'll be able to have more, but that will be something that they will give us permission to decide on. But as of right now, this is the only one. And in this retreat, it will be 3,600 euros, roughly about 3,700 US dollars. And it's all inclusive, where you will have room and board taken care of. We'll be providing vegan and vegetarian meals throughout the entire stay there. There is a WhatsApp group that we're starting now with those who have already registered and enrolled. And we will have a meeting before with the mamos. And then after the retreat, there will be another follow-up with the mamos again for Q&A and the continuing support that they will be giving us from a spiritual, energetic standpoint. But we'll also have more practical support offerings as well for everyone who attends. And this also will include for you your transportation to and from the airport, where we will be there in Valledupar and make our journey up to Pueblo Bello, which is in the mountains. It's about 4,000 feet above sea level, a little actually over 4,000 feet above sea level. So it's, like I said, it's an extraordinary, sacred, beautiful place. And this also will, provide for you either a shared bungalow or private room, and laundry and ironing services will be there as well. Yeah, it's going to be really a beautiful opportunity and amazing experience for all those who are called for this. It's not something that I need to sell to you. Either you feel it or you don't. And that's really what it was for myself even. At first, there was resistance inside of me about even going. But then things were made clear to me. Literally, the mountains spoke to me one early morning around literally around this time, 3:30 in the morning, my time here, where I was awoken and shown that it was of the greatest necessity that I made this journey. And so I did, and I understand now why that was. And I think, and part of that is because this is something that needs to be shared with the world. And I feel honored and humbled that I get the opportunity to do that. And for those of you who are uh, called, it's for you. So what's going to be really beautiful is that Mamo Apolinar, and go back to that slide so you can see who he is. He's the primary teacher and guide for us there. He's giving a Q&A on this coming Saturday, the 8th. And I'm going to put into the chat for anyone who wants to join and hear from him directly and ask questions. This coming Saturday will be the opportunity to do that. And so it's a Tidy Call calendar. You just register there and you will get a link, a Google Meet link for this coming Saturday. It'll be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because Colombia is on the same East Coast time as the US. And it'll be like 3 p.m. for me here. And yeah, it's going to be really amazing. And I think, from what Edna, who will be his translator, because he only speaks Spanish. And so he has Edna and Mo, who are the translators for him. I believe he may even offer for those who are really serious about attending the retreat, a private session with you after Saturday's Q&A. So that'll be available there. And for those who are ready, and who want to learn more about the retreat in greater detail, you can go to the makiwa.com/retreat to get that. And I'll put that link in the chat for everyone as well. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. And like I said, I feel the time that we're in, we're being called back. And that's why there's a dismantling of this world as we've created it that needs to be restored back into a place of balance where we're working truly as a collective. First and foremost within ourselves, as Doc was speaking about being indivisible, collecting yourself and bringing yourself back home to you, but then also being a part of the greater collective and oneness and the indivisibility of us as one living being and the multifaceted forms of beings that we are that make up this world and this beautiful planet that we're a part of.
Wow, very interesting and powerful, Dr. Mahdi. I can already see it. I feel it. I hear it, that this is going to be an amazing journey for everyone that is choosing themselves. That's the thing. You must choose yourself. You can't wait to be chosen.
Yeah.
So that's what winners do. They choose themselves and they never give up. And they always focus on what can reconnect them to the most powerful things there are. And one of those is Mother Earth or Mama Gaia, Big Mama.
Yes.
So I know it's either early or late there, depending on how you want to look at it. So the folks have the information on how to contact you or how to get involved in this event. The links are there right now. So I just want to thank you. I'm going to say a few more words before I leave. And but we're going to let Dr. Mahdi make his journey onto Dreamland or wherever he may be going. And it's always great. We may be having our last cleanse report either Saturday coming up or next Monday, depending on, which day we sit down and talk about Mahdi.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of things coming up that I want to talk to some folks about and, see if they'd like to be involved in some other things that we're building. So thank you very
Indeed.
much to you,
Yes.
to your teachers, to your friends, your new family down in Colombia, to your wife, and just thank you very much for all your knowledge, your wisdom, and the in your flow, man. Your delivery is just amazing, and to
Thank
see
you.
you just being so calm, I see this the shift in you, man, since you went
Mm.
down there. So if we can all get some of that from going down to the
Yes. Yes.
to the to
Yeah.
the to the mama, and
Yeah.
that would be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
So yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I'll just say to all of you, yeah, let's keep cleansing, let's keep connecting, let's keep cleansing.
Thank you very much, brother.
All right, brother. All right,
Travel light.
you too. Peace.
Yes, for those of you who are still with us here, we've been on a journey for the last going on 4 weeks now, doing a collective cleansing together. For those of you who are just getting your program in the mail or just starting, you can go back and look at the previous videos that are on the YouTube site. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do, because there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be doing together on our YouTube channel. So subscribe, please. That's Dr. Be Serious on YouTube. Also, go join us over there on Instagram, Dr. Be Serious on Instagram and on Facebook. And elevationtime.com is basically our home base online. There are classes, there's workshops there. And once you become a member of the Elevation Time, website, then you can get some of the special treats that we have over there for members only. And we're building that members only site even more. So there's classes, you can get, discounts on classes, you'll get discounts on products, but you also get a lot of information that is not privy to the mainstream, because those who really choose themselves, who are ready to invest, those are the ones who are going to be at the top of the mountain. We must choose ourselves. We must push ourselves. You see, doing this program, we're learning how to stay focused, how to push, and how to release, how to let go, how to mind our business, and having a goal, having a telos. There's so many things that are going on right now that could pull you either way, but you've got to stay focused. You've got to do the impossible. And recently, I understand that we just did the impossible today. We put out a video, music video, Sonic Immersion 2, and it has just reached 100,000 views today. Sonic Immersion 2 has just reached 100,000 in 2 months. Now, I was told, oh man, first of all, the track is too long and people are not really into that. And other people are like, oh yeah, this is what we need. You have to be careful because folks have their opinions and it's okay. Let them have their opinion. But we stayed focused. And now that we have 100,000 people who are streaming that particular track, that music, that medicine music track, that's taking them into, other moods and other vibes, and taking them on a vibrational frequency journey into the deeper self. Folks are who are going into that whole inner sanctum through the music. Congratulations to you. And even those of you out there who are making music, this is what they call frequency music, healing music. Congratulations to all of us in this. This is a whole new thing that actually we started it back in the year 1999. That's when we started this frequency music thing with this project called the Urban Shaman. My old business partner, Akadama, and I, actually, we're going to be re-releasing that project very soon. But back in 1999, we decided to start doing medicine music. And now it's become a big thing. And, our new publicist basically came online. She's actually our old publicist, who's our new publicist. But anyway, she said, Dr. B, you're the father of frequency music. You're the father of this whole thing. People don't know that. Well, I don't go out boasting on what I, might be. I never thought about it like that. But yes, I'm one of the people who started this movement, and there's going to be more and more that I'm going to be adding to the movement because it is big now, and just music is food. Fasting from the commercial music is very important because the frequencies, they take you into a space, they're hypnotizing. It takes you into a trance, and Before you know it, you're singing about something that's, creating your own demise. You're creating toxins in your body, and cortisol and adrenaline and all these things are pumping in your blood. And you just think you just like this song because it's dope, man. It's dope. It is dope. It's dopamine. It's creating dope. It's a drug. You know what I'm saying? And you're getting this feeling like you got something, but you really don't have anything because you don't really understand the depths sometimes of what you're listening to and what you're consuming, because what you're hearing is also what you're consuming. Your ears are eating sound. Your nose is digesting smell. We are taking in the essence and the energy from our entire, our entire essence. This is a deep thing. Once you get totally aware and move away from the candy counter, move away from the disagreeable talk, move away from the talk about how bad it is and how the world is messed up. We're not at the end of the world. We're at the beginning of your world, if you say so now. You must choose. Are you ready to choose? Will you choose to be a member of the Dr. B or the Elevation Time website? Would you choose to be a member of the Dr. B YouTube channel? I'd like to thank all of you who are listening to the music that we're putting out on the YouTube channel, and those of you who have actually gone to the website and received the downloads. You see, the difference between the downloads and the things we're putting on YouTube are different because YouTube has commercials. And what you're going to get when you get the downloads from the website is high definition sound. And the Sonic Immersion project is almost complete. So we're going to have one more Sonic Immersion before we put out the Sonic Immersion album. You see, we also have the album that's just about done, which is the Project Allow. That will be coming out too, which has the song I Allow in there and some other songs that were part of the God Power soundtrack. So all those things are coming up. And for those of you who will be in Atlanta this weekend, I'll be at the event. I will have, looks like we're going to have a booth for a short time. We're not going to be there for the whole time. And there's a bunch of new classes. Like I said, I'm going to start doing this new series where we talk about one subject, one thing, and break down how we can use that. Instead of being so broad, we're going to go very narrow. And for those of you who are ready to sign up for those type of classes and workshops and all that, go to elevationtime.com and make sure you're on the email list, elevationtime.com. I'd like to thank all of you who've invested in the cleansing, all of you who've invested in yourselves, in your community, in your people, in your family. Thank you very much. Love yourself as much as I love you. Love yourself more than anybody else loves you. Get full of yourself. Who do you think you are? That's a big question. People ask you, well, who do you think you are? Tell them who you think you are. And why can't I be who I think I am? Why do I have to be less than? You see what I'm saying? Why do I have to bow down to all these things that basically, somebody else chose for us? That's the whole thing of living in a world where, oppression, depression, repression, suppression is the thing. And you got to be poor, broke, lonely, sad because everybody else says you should be that way. No, this is the time to celebrate. This is time for you to blow your horn. This is time for you to be who you came to be. Never mind all the things you think are being taken away. Some of the things that are being taken away are just being detoxified so that we can be more in oneness with ourselves. Be individual, be indivisible and individual. Become yourself. Then you can come to the group and be incredible. Come to the group. Come join the family. Come join the Elevation family. elevationtime.com. And once again, don't forget the discount code for those of you who would like to invest in either the cleansing or any of the products, the many products we have at elevationtime.com. That discount code is Collective4. Collective4 is the 10% off discount code for everything over $99 in your cart. Yes. And that's till Sunday at midnight. So thank you for investing in yourselves. Thank you for being here. We are grateful for all of you who have, been a part of the family, a part of this movement, the new movement. This is the movement that's going to actually do something. Movement means to move, not just to talk, not just to read and be mad and scroll. Actually be. Be your best self now. Be your best self now. Choose. Don't wait to be chosen. So we're grateful for all of you, and we'll see you soon. Make sure you're on the email list so you'll know when the next pop-up is, or the next class, or the next workshop, or the next talk. I love you all. Be one with we. Be healthy, be whole, be real, be elevated. Thank you very much. We'll see you all soon. Much love. I allow myself to be my best self. To be creative. And to let go.